Right, greetings everybody and welcome to another video. It is I, Umbra, enjoying the stormy weather today. We got a little bit of some stormy weather rolling through, and personally I just love a good thunderstorm, and we might have a little bit of a meta shakeup, a little bit of a meta shaker. We'll see, because today we are introducing to the game Lilyth. New version. Lilyth's version, I always just call her Lilyth because I think that's a very common name I hear in media, so that's always what I'm thinking. And here she is, her new version. We're going to talk about it, show it off today. And first off, let's show off the Limit Burst. Why not? Limit Burst looks pretty cool. He looks pretty cool doing it. Scorched Earth. All right. Now we're going to jump over and just go into a mission. As you can see, there's new story. We're not going to be doing that. We're going to throw her into our light team, which I think is just generally an okay team, kind of split between physical and magical. I think that, keep in mind that when we're looking at the stats, but overall, her stats are looking pretty positive. If we take a look at old Lucio here, that's essentially what old Lucio looks like with full reincarnations. There's Barts with very few reincarnations. And here's our new character. A 70 cost permanent addition to the pool probably isn't going to be something that most people are going to be spending a ton of their resources on, but I do think that there are some really good positive things about her kit and equipment. First off, the sword that she wields, here it is. This is a brand new piece of equipment, the assault version. You can see the stats there. This is basically her exclusive weapon. The slash attack is pretty common at this point, nothing too surprising there. However, here, these additional power-ups are for her and her only. Kind of surprising because I thought maybe there'd be some other units that could benefit from it, but apparently no. So reaction block, AP cost down, as well as AoE resistance is generally all some nice positives. It's a little bit of a mix between offensive and defensive capabilities, but that's kind of where she is, as well as we're about to see. Taking a look at her stats, again, I don't think this is super well constructed party. It's just light elemental synergy that we got going, but 12k HP, 1500 attack, 67 accuracy, all are things that stand out. He does also, with this current build, have 32 spirit and 13 defense, 20 single target, and 48 AoE resistance, which is pretty nice. 106 speed is good, considering that if you think about the previous units that we've seen demoed on our channel, almost all of them are equipped with the Hermes sandals, which always gives me a little bit of a, this probably isn't as good as you think, because it's kind of being pushed up a little bit here, and we're not getting really any extra sources of speed here. There's nothing here, there's certainly nothing here, and last but not least, on her passives there actually isn't any speed up, which I think is quite interesting for a unit like this, because you think about just like so many passives, so many new characters have speed updates, but hers is still 106, which again, if we take a look around, given this party, I mean, yeah, 121 is definitely the faster one, but she does have agility equipment and whatnot, so a little bit disingenuous. I think it holds up pretty well. Taking a look at resistances, there's definitely something that you should notice right off the bat, which is, of course, 72% slash attack resistance is very resistant to a ton of damage dealers out there, and also net positives toward magic. And taking a look at spear and shooting resistance in the positives, where strike is her one weakness. Taking a look below, unfortunately no curse resistance, which is something that I think is pretty valuable right now, but also poison resistance, frostbite resistance means that she's at least pretty good competitively in the meta. And as we all know, just stick Beach Resnick out there to really get rid of that cursey stuff. All right, now Limit Burst we've talked about before, but it's essentially a long-ranged single target, multi-target selector that decreases defense while also reducing the opponent's offensive power. The only reason I want to bring this up is because I forgot talking about a limit burst before and I didn't want to skip it this time. Needless to say, it's pretty good, and with the AP cost discounts, it's probably even better. Jumping back up for a second to equipment to talk about the Trust Master, so we don't forget about it either. Very defensive piece of armor with a pretty valuable skill. We're looking at on the Trust Master here, giving single target attack resistance to not only her or the user, but one other character as well for 4 turns, which is pretty good. And then you have a 3-turn effect that is active on all of both characters' attacks, which reduces magic human killer. So a very, very strong anti-mage Trust Mastery. Does mean you have to equip it for armor, and you might be giving up some other armor, but it's pretty decent armor, and if you're going up against a mage meta, seems pretty good depending on what the numbers are. I would assume that this is probably a 20 or 25 for magic human killer down, not up on the of course Wotv calc yet, so we'll have to wait and see the details about that later. Yeah, double check, not up there yet. Oof, didn't want to be a liar. Now, continuing on, this is a new job on a 70 cost, and this job will show up on other units in the future. So taking a look at her counter ability is a interesting one that is a counter attack for opponents that hit her with either slashing or magic, which are 2 of the most common damage types. And what you get as a bonus is Dispel. It just is a Dispel, which is pretty good and pretty strong. That's a nice thing to have on a counter. And you may say, well, wait a second, how is this going to be good? Because the range on it is pretty short. Well, there is some good news to that, which is that she does have an actual honeycomb barrier built into one of her supports for magic attacks. This also increases slash attack resistance penetration. But the key thing to note here that I think is really important is that you are effectively reducing a lot of magic damage and forcing mages to get in closer where her counter can potentially activate. Of course, reaction block is a thing, but this is one of the things that I think is very, very strong here. Secondly, her other support skill is attack up as well as some extra damage. That's right, this is her damage up one. The other one was slash attack resistance, which is why she had such a high amount of slash attack resistance. Also, a debuff weakening effect is reduced on her, so basically she's quite good at wait, was it dealing or hold on, sorry, I might be conflating something here. Let me just double check my note. Debuff resistance, right? Yes, I did say it correctly the first time. Not causing debuffs, but being more resistant to being debuffed. And the last thing is it creates a static 4 times at the start of battle barrier that reduces magical damage. So she has a lot to push her in the direction of, you know, what is essentially really good right now, which is mages. Kraken needs an answer, and needs an answer really bad, and a low cost but effective unit could be one of the major tickets here. We're looking at a Trust Mastery that already gets rid of some of the offensive capabilities, but Lilyth is very, very good against magic attackers of all varieties, and yeah, that's pretty nice. The only way it could be better is if you get rid of follow-up attacks, but again, pairing her with Resnick might be more of the ticket to do. All right, that part of the job, of course, Paladin is one of the ones that I'm particularly interested in. Given how much defensive capability this character has, he might actually be just a really solid tank. So generating hate is going to be important for her kit. And since we don't have the unit yet, I can't confirm that she has a track blade, but a track blade probably is in there. And if not, at worst, you could theoretically run the producer's bow tie to give her some innate hate, potentially push her that route. Either way, If we do need to pick a sub job, what we're giving up one is an AoE, does have confusion on it. Again, hate would generally benefit this kind of thing, so it would be nice if you could generate some hate, but confusion is a powerful status effect, and if she's forcing enemies in around her, there's a good chance that this could activate, cause confusion, and really mess up a bunch of mages. Again, not sure that there's a super high chance happening yet, but it is promising as an option. Here we have a select 2 targets and reduce light attack resistance, which at this point, I mean, there's a good amount of light resistance down, but on a newer unit, sure, we'll take it. All right, now we get into the main part of her kit, which does have a bunch of different stuff that I'm going to be checking just my notes to make sure that we have everything. But first off, ability, just a basic attack that CT up, not too terribly much. A little bit of a tempo ability could be useful especially in the right situations when it's just one-on-one, and there's a good chance that this character could blast. Now, taking a look at this ability, critical evasion rate and slashing attack resistance for allies for 4 turns, increases the user's defense and spirit for 4 turns. So the stats that she actually has will get better. Now, I think at worst, we're probably looking at 20-25 for both of those stats, which again makes her quite defensive, but also grants the effect of absorbing a portion of the HP damage dealt. So interesting, to say the least, that she does sport an ability that does give her a little bit of extra healing. Her DPS needs to be there against some of the strongest units in the game, but should be quite promising if she can. All right, over here, our next ability. Now, this is just an AoE ability. I don't think that it is one of her abilities that I think she's going to lean too heavily on, because she seems more single target orientated, but deals damage after raise is released. So basically a re-raise canceller, recovers own AP when enemies are incapacitated, up to 2. Not the most flexible, probably not going to be super useful, but getting rid of re-raise, not terrible option for her to have. As for this one, we covered it before in the unit preview, but I'll go over some of the importance. So it gives her the re-raise effect, which automatically recovers her when she goes down. When under the re-raise effect, defense penetration's up, AP consumption is better, reduces the target's debuff resistance rate before attacking. When an attack hits, reduces the target's slashing attack power, and also removes re-raise. So a bunch of different effects that come into effect with this, and is generally pretty powerful. All right, next ability, getting close to the end of talking about her kit, increases your own single target attack resistance penetration rate for 3 turns, then deals large damage for up to 2 targets and greatly reduces slash attack power. And honestly, I think this is good. I mean, this probably pairs her well with some other single target attackers. Her limit burst will almost always be going off first, but this also has high range, so has a decent chance of going, and potentially even the AI prioritizing it to reduce that single target resistance before some of her other abilities. So yeah, I mean, synergistic with her kit seems good. All right, and her job level 25 ability is deals damage to up to 2 targets. So again, synergizing with that single target attack. Range on it's pretty good. Closer the target is, the greater the damage, reduces attack, magic, and healing power for 3 turns and increases own CT. So yeah, at 28 AP, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. You're essentially kneecapping your opponent, especially because if you are just getting better debuffs and debuff rates from her other ability, then this ability is very, 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 very valuable. But yeah, I think overall Lilyth ended up with a really nice looking single target focused kit for a 70 cost effectively. Like, I think that anybody with Cypher, this is probably a strong consideration for a cost limited team with another like low cost unit. or if it's 270, maybe just cloud her and something else. Maybe just throwing in a healer or something like that. But I think that her kit ended up pretty good for what is currently popular, and at a lower cost. You'll probably have higher value than some of the other 100 costs, which are a little bit harder to justify. But yeah, I think that this unit's quite good. We'll have to wait and see about her performance in the next video. Anyway, that's all for now. Take care. See you later.